Gentlemen, in this video I would like to discuss my Thailand trip preparations and my lifestyle in Pattaya and offer you some tips if you plan on following in my footsteps and travelling to Pattaya yourself. I usually book my plane tickets and my accommodation 2 to 3 months before flying out, depending on the time that I'm travelling. If I'm travelling during the high season, from mid-November to mid-February, then I'll book my tickets well in advance. For my last trip, from the 22nd of December to the 5th of January 2015, I booked my flights and my accommodation in mid-September, and the price I was charged for my airfare was about 25% more than I usually pay in low season. I was glad that I bought my ticket early, as I monitored the prices of airfares in the months and weeks leading up to my trip, and they leaped up from the 1,331 Australian dollars that I paid to over 2,000 Australian dollars, which is an almost 50% increase in price. If I'm travelling to Thailand during the low season, from mid-February to late March, from mid to late April to mid-June, or from mid-July to mid-October, then I book my airfare between 1 to 2 months before travelling. There's no real rush to book airfares, I have found, if I'm travelling during the low season. I almost always book my airfares through Expedia.com. I recommend opening an account with Expedia if you're a regular overseas traveller. For accommodation, I used to stay at the Mercure Hotel. This is a great mid-range hotel, very well located, and a pleasure to stay at. These days, however, I book and I stay in a condo. City Garden Pattaya is the condo complex I stay at. I book a condo at City Garden by Airbnb.com. I highly recommend you open an account with Airbnb and book through them, as you can save up to, and sometimes over, 50% on the price of your accommodation. The City Garden complex is located a few doors up from the Mercure Hotel, and it is a very well located place to stay. I like staying in a condo as it has a kitchen, and I like to be able to make some meals myself, as I really miss Western style food when I'm in Thailand, and I often work long hours on my laptop during the day from the condo on my various business and personal pursuits, including creating content for this channel. I usually start packing my stuff a few weeks before I fly out to Thailand. This way I ensure I don't forget anything. Most of the stuff I take with me is electronic equipment, such as my laptop, my Rode podcaster, USB cables, Amazon Kindle, and a host of accessories like external keyboard, mouse, mousepad, iPhone, USB charger, 4 or 5 electrical converter adapters, a 2-meter plus electrical extension cord, headphones, and lots of other electronic equipment. I need to be able to work during the days in Thailand, and having all this stuff with me makes for a comfortable and convenient working environment. The one thing I was always missing on my Thailand stays was an ergonomic office chair, but I bought an expensive one last May, and one of my ladyboys has it in her condo and sits on it while applying her makeup. I usually go and pick it up from her in an open back taxi for a couple $100 baht. It's a very comfortable chair, which I spent a day hunting down by asking a taxi driver to drive me around to different places until I found a suitable one. It was money very well spent. I always try to book a 2:30 p.m. flight from Australia to Thailand. This means I usually arrive at Bangkok Airport at around about 8:30 p.m. Thailand time. The flight time to Bangkok is 9 hours and 30 minutes from Melbourne, Australia. I have a car and a driver waiting for me, as I always book through Siam Resorts Bangkok Airport Transfer Services. And here's the link. When I enter the arrivals hall, I walk up to the area where there are people holding up signs with the names of the people who have booked a taxi. My name is written out in big letters in English. I simply approach the person holding up the sign, or the rail it's hanging on, and make myself known. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes of waiting here before I'll be ushered out and into a booked car. From the airport, it takes around 2.5 hours to reach Pattaya City. When I arrive at City Garden condos, I approach the security guard, who will have an envelope with my condo key in it. I show him my identification and then take the key and enter my condo. I go next door to the 7-Eleven and get some yogurt and a small loaf of crappy bread and some bottled water. That's always my first priority after I arrive. I then go back to my condo, unpack and organise my stuff, and then go right to sleep around 11 p.m. The first morning I wake up, I eat some yogurt, go to the supermarket just up the road, and buy food for the next few days. The next thing I do is take my passport, hop on a motorcycle taxi, and go to Central Plaza Shopping Centre, the big one located on Beach Road. I go to the DTAC store, take a ticket, and I buy the most expensive internet card that I can find. I make it known to the DTAC salesperson that I want the most expensive one, and then I usually put more money on the card as well for phone calls, and more for internet download allowance. It's best to do this right away, as topping up can be a real pain unless you speak and can read and write Thai. I can, but let me tell you, it's still a pain a lot of the time. It's important that you remember to take your passport with you when you go to the DTAC store, as they will not sell you an internet card without seeing and photocopying your passport. After I have my DTAC card, I usually pick up some more supplies from the more expensive Western supermarket at Central Plaza, and from there I will hop on a motorcycle taxi and head back to City Garden condos. Once I have the internet up and running, food and water in the fridge, and my stuff unpacked and organised, I feel ready to do a few hours work on my laptop, some internet browsing, or go to the City Garden condo gym for a 20-minute to half-hour run. It's a pretty good gym with a number of treadmills and free weights. I stick to this gym for the first few days and try to get into a regular workout routine of morning and afternoon cardio and weights. This routine is essential for me because I find that I put on body fat quite easily in Thailand due to being out most nights and consuming more alcohol than I usually would back in Farangland. When I need heavier weights, I usually go to the bodybuilding gym in Soi Buakhao, the same one Sharky Ward trains at. As the evening approaches on my first day in Thailand, I usually have a shower, get dressed and head out. My first port of call is the Pattaya beer garden at the entrance to Walking Street. I really enjoy eating here and having a drink or two before heading out to a Ladyboy bar. I like looking out into the distance at the ocean and watching as the sun goes down and the excitement of the night begins. After I finish my meal, I will hop on a motorcycle taxi and either head to Soi 6 or Soi Buakhao. The first few nights I usually spend catching up with ladyboys who I have known for a few years now. I'll do a lap of Soi 6 or Soi Buakhao and take in the sights, sounds and smells before heading to the bar my ladyboy friend is working at. I'll then have a drink or two with her and then it's back to my condo for a shower and a short-term liaison. After that, I'll spend some time reading or watching YouTube videos before going to bed and thinking about what work I'll do the next day. After a few nights catching up with ladyboys I know, I'll then usually start seeking out new ladyboy partners and getting to know them and having a few short-time liaisons with them. I tend to get to know at least 2 new ladyboys and often more depending on how long I'm in Pattaya for. A couple of bars which I frequent: the fantastic Sensations Bar in Soi 21, which is just off Soi Buakhao. Sensations Bar is owned by Scott Griffiths and his ladyboy partner Paeng, who you might remember from the excellent Sky TV series Ladyboys. I've been a friend of Scott's since 2012 and I spent New Year's Eve at his bar and it was a great experience. The bar wasn't crowded with people pushing and shoving, nothing like what you've come to expect on New Year's in the Western world. I enjoyed a few drinks with one of his Ladyboy staff members, who I also had dinner with earlier in the night, and a short-time liaison with. It was easily the best New Year's Eve that I've had in my life. It was so good that I'm going back for New Year's Eve 2016. I highly recommend Sensations Bar to you, my subscribers. I think Scott and his partner Paeng have done a fantastic job of creating a no-pressure, laid-back bar. I really enjoy having a drink here and chat with Scott and his Ladyboy staff and going for short-time liaisons with his Ladyboys in one of the guest rooms he has upstairs. I've been with a few of his Ladyboy staff now and I've always had a wonderful time. Great bars like Scott and Paeng's don't exist by accident. Scott and Paeng have put a lot of hard work, time and dedication into creating a place which is fun to hang out in. The Ladyboy staff they have working there have always been very respectful, kind and accommodating to me, which is why I'll keep coming back as a customer. Scott and Paeng treat their staff well, and you can see they have genuine affection for their Ladyboys. Something that's lacking in the corporate Western world, I might add. If you're in the area, do drop by and say hello to Scott and mention that you're a Pretender subscriber. Here's the link to the Sensations Bar Facebook page. Pook Bar in Soi 6 is another favourite bar of mine. There used to be a Pook Bar in Soi Buakhao, but this closed recently to make way for a restaurant. I have a number of favourite ladyboys at Pook's who I visit on a regular basis. Sometimes I go for a short time in the upstairs guest room, but I've become somewhat close to one of the ladyboys who works here, so most of the time I'll take her to dinner or go back to my condo for our short time liaison. Here's the Facebook link for Pook Bar in Soi 6. Outside of the bars, I've got a number of ladyboys that I catch up with who have moved on to different jobs but who still see me. I usually just message them on Facebook or Skype and ask them to come over. We'll take them out to dinner and have a short time liaison with them back at my condo. I don't need to pay them a bar fine, so sometimes I'll pay them a little bit more. A ladyboy who has chosen to leave the bar usually has very few other job options, and many times she'll keep working on the side, and us regular clients are a welcome and many times much needed income source, as the pay ladyboys get from a normal job is likely to be very low in comparison to what they were making at the bar going with customers. Anyway, this lifestyle of mine in Pattaya, Thailand is a world away from the terrible Western nightclub irritations of getting dressed up, walking into a bar, approaching women, getting treated like crap, getting rejected, dealing with idiots, dealing with a 70-30 ratio of men to women, and so on. I don't even want to think about it. I no longer even go to bars or clubs in Australia. It's just too depressing and soul-crushing an experience. Who needs that shit when we've got Pattaya? Well, that's it for me for this video, gentlemen. I hope I've given you a bit of an idea of my Thailand trip preparations and some insight into my lifestyle when I'm in the land of smiles. Till next time, all the best, gentlemen. I'm the Pretender.